Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you my first Valentine's Day makeup tutorial of this year. This is a pink and glitter cut crease and I hope that you guys like it. I personally am obsessed with it. I love pink and I love glitter, so I really love this look. And I showed you this first in my play button reveal video, so if you haven't seen that, go ahead and check it out. But this is the exact same look, same product, same everything. You guys requested it, so I'm really happy with it and I think it's really perfect for Valentine's Day. So if you guys want to see how I got this look, then just keep on watching. Okay, so I already have one eye completed. I finished the look on this eye so we could focus on the steps that I take, and I'm just going to show you this eye. So I actually already primed my eyelid with my MAC Painterly paint pot. I always prime my eyelid with a paint pot because it gets rid of the veins on my eyelid, and if you guys have watched any tutorials from me, you've seen that step already. And I already did my eyebrows for this look. If you guys want an eyebrow tutorial, then let me know. I can do one, but for now, it saves time when I'm trying to just show you an eye look. For my first color for my eyeshadow, I'm going to go in my crease with a transition brown color. This is Creme Brulee from Makeup Geek, and as you can see, I have Hit Pan on this product. And the brush I'm going to be using for all the blending in my crease is my Sigma E25. This is my favorite white-haired blender, and I use this for almost all of my eye looks. So I'm just dipping into that transition color, tapping off the excess, and putting a little bit into my crease to help the other pink colors blend. And this is just going to lay out where I have my cut crease, and it's giving some dimension to my eye, making it look a little bit bigger. Next, I'm going to give myself a little brow bone highlight, and this is going to make it a little bit more pink and iridescent. So I'm picking up the color Pink Heart out of my Anastasia Beverly Hills Moonchild Glow Kit, and I'm going to pick this up with my Sigma pencil brush, and I'm just going to be lightly dusting this underneath my brow bone. And this is really hard to see on camera with my bright lights, but once I take pictures with flash or if you're out at night, you can see these shades really good. Now for the pink cut crease in this look, I'm using the Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance palette. So I'm going into this magenta shade. It's called Love Letter. I'm going to cut everything out with my MAC Painterly, and I'm really going to clean everything up. So something I like about this look is all of these messy steps come together in the end and look really neat and nice. So I'm just going to start placing this where I want my crease to be, which is a little bit higher than the natural crease of my eye, just because I am going to be adding some glitter in there. And the number one thing with this color is to just keep blending and make sure it's all blended together. And you can switch up this look and add any color that you want above the crease. I really like using this technique for any look. I really like doing cut creases lately. Now I am going to be going back into this palette, but for now I can set it aside and start on cutting the crease. Now for this next part, it's very important that you have the right tools. You're going to need a cream color of some sort. I'm going back in with my MAC Painterly paint pot, and you're going to need a flat synthetic brush. I'm using my Sigma cream color brush. So here is my Painterly. As you can see, it's a skin toned color for me, so that is what I'm going to be carving my crease out with, and then I will place my lid color on top of this. And then I'm going to perfectly carve out where I want my angle of my crease to be. So right as if I were doing liquid liner is where I'm going to do mine. And then I'm just going to pack this all over the lid space and try to get a nice clean line along my crease. And this is the same technique that I would use if I was putting glitter all over my lid, except I would be using glitter glue for this. Luckily with this look, you only need the inner corner and the outer little wing part to be very sharp. The rest of it, it's all going to be covered with glitter anyways, so you really do not have to be a perfectionist with this look. So I think it'd be really good for beginners. Now for the lid color, again, you can use whatever color you want, but I'm using a magenta for my crease and then a light shimmery pink for my lid, just because I feel like it suits Valentine's Day really well. So the light shimmery pink eyeshadow I'm going to be using is the color Sugar Coated out of this Nikkie Tutorials palette with Too Faced. So So it is this color right here. It's just a very pretty light pink shimmer, and this is a very simple step. I'm taking a smudge brush from Sigma because it's nice and small. It has a very small tip, and I'm just going to be picking up a lot of this color and packing it all over where I put that cream color. So I'm going to coat everything from the outside tail to the lid. And if you want this to be super vibrant, you can add Fix Plus or wet your eyeshadow, but I find that this specific color performs pretty well on its own. You want to try to not go up into the crease with this color, but again, if you're not perfect with it, it doesn't matter because you are going to be covering that line with glitter. Now for the glitter, I wanted to initially use a light pink glitter, but I don't have one that's eye safe or even cosmetic grade. I have some pink craft glitter, but I don't want to attempt that. You can really injure your eye if you use the wrong kind of glitter. So I'm going to go ahead and use my favorite glitter from NYX, and I think this actually made the look better. It gave it more dimension and made it a little bit different. And this is the crystal glitter, the same one I used in my New Year's Eve tutorial. So this is kind of like a holographic multicolored glitter. And to lay down the line for my glitter, I'm going to be using the NYX Glitter Primer. This stuff is magical, and it's completely replaced using eyelash glue for my glitter purposes. I would highly recommend picking this up. I think it's only around $6, and you don't have to put eyelash glue in your cut crease anymore, so I really like this. So what I'm going to do is place a little bit of this glitter primer on the back of my hand, and I'm going to pick it up with this tiny little brush from Sigma. This is a pinpoint concealer. You can use any tiny brush because you really want to get a nice line, so any liner brush would really be good. This one is just one of the smallest ones I have in my collection, so I decided to use this one. And all I do for this is slowly carve out that line between my crease and my lid. And I am not a perfectionist with this glue either. And I personally like to put a lot of this primer right above the very middle of my lid, and that's because I like the way it looks when I blink. After that primer is placed, you kind of have to act quickly with your glitter. I pick it up with any clean brush. I'm using another small brush for this, and a little at a time, I scoop some of it out of the cap of the glitter, and I just press it down onto that primer. And you do want to move pretty quickly with your glitter just so that this primer does not dry down, but you can always add more if you need to. So for liner for this look, I wanted to have a nice dramatic cat eye. So I've been experimenting around with this liner from Tarte. So this is called the Lights Camera Lashes Precision Long Wear Eyeliner. So here's what it looks like. This is a felt tip liner. So I'm just going to do my usual cat eye liner. I'm going to start with the tail and then fill everything in. So there is the liner, and to touch it up, I always like to go in with my Tarteist Clay Paint Liner, and I like to go over it because this is the blackest eyeliner, and I like my liner to be nice and dark. Then I'm going to go ahead and go in with some mascara on my top lashes with the Tarte Tarteist Mascara. And then I'm going to apply my favorite lashes. These are the Studio Effects Wispies by Ardell. And then while that glue dries, I'm going back into the Modern Renaissance palette into Love Letter. and I'm going to drag that along the lower lash line. This seriously brings the look together, and it really makes my eyes look so much bigger and just better. And I keep this thicker towards the outer corner and just lightly drag it towards the center. And then give my bottom lashes some mascara. So what I've been doing lately is grabbing some black eyeshadow, and this is Corrupt by Makeup Geek, and I'm just going to dot this all over my lash band so that it hides the glue. Now for blush, I wanted something kind of pink but not too much. I don't want it to be like Barbie, I just want it to look a little bit soft and romantic. So I chose the Tarte Blissful blush, and this is just the perfect everyday shade for me. I've been obsessed with it lately, and it does have a little bit of pink to it, so I feel like it really suits this Valentine's Day look. And I'm going to pick this up with a large angled contour from Sigma because I just want to pinpoint this to the apples of my cheeks. So I'm going to smile and apply. And I just want it to be right there just to give my face a little bit more shape and dimension and a little bit of life because I need some color or I look kind of flat. So next up is highlighter, and I'm going to be using a Jeffree Star Skin Frost. This is called Princess Cut, and I feel like every girl wants to feel like a princess on Valentine's Day, and this is pink, so it's going to really look good on Valentine's Day, and I feel like it gives me a nice excuse to whip out my pink highlighter. So for this, I'm going to be picking it up with my Sigma Strobing Fan Brush, and I'm just going to brush downward on the palette. That's how I like to apply these. And then I'm just going to hit the high points of my cheekbones. I want it to be like a nice soft glow. I really, really love this Skin Frost. And this brush just places it in the perfect spot where I want it. So I am going to grab a little bit of this, and my tip for highlighting the Cupid's bow is to do it before you put on lipstick. That way after you put the lipstick on, you won't see as much of it that got onto your lip, and I just feel like it gives it a nice look. So I'm picking up a little bit on my middle finger, and I'm just going to dust it on my Cupid's bow. Not everyone likes this look, but I do. And just the leftover I'm going to put on the tip of my nose. Now that I'm nice and glowy and I finished the eye look, I'm going to apply my lipstick and then we're done. Since my taste in makeup is very neutral and laid back, this is pretty extreme for an eye look for me. So I want to keep the lip nice and simple, and I want to go with a no-fail lipstick that will last me through a Valentine's Day date, and I feel like this is the perfect nude color. So I'm going to be using Anastasia Strip. This is my all-time favorite liquid lipstick from Anastasia Beverly Hills. And I wear this all the time in my videos, and I get so many questions when I wear this. So I just want to tell you guys, this is one of the only liquid lipsticks that I've run all the way through and had to buy a backup of because that's how often I wear it, even when I'm not filming. So that is it for my Valentine's Day makeup tutorial. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. If you did, then please give this video a thumbs up. If there's any other looks that you guys would want me to try for Valentine's Day, then let me know. I want to put out one more video this year. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you guys liked this video. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. I put out new videos every single week, and I hope to see you all in my next one. Bye.